the idea of a space force is not fundamentally odd when you consider that the Army, 70 years ago, birthed the Air Force. There was the Army Air Force, and once we realized that technology and warfighting capabilities evolve,
and was going to take place up in the
in the airspace rather than the ground space, then it was sensible to suggest that perhaps this should be an entire branch of the military unto itself. So today, all space capabilities of the military are handled by the Air Force. That was the natural extension of what the Air Force people did. And it's huge. Air Force controls the GPS.
Right, most people don't realize.
And I know someone has a show called GPS.
but most people don't realize that GPS, which is really now basically the underpinnings of the digital economy. I mean, everything we do in terms of location.
Billions of dollars of commerce
is funded on the back of an infrastructure sustained, run by the U.S. Air Force.
By the U.S. Air Force, that's correct. And there's an entire place where that happens in Colorado. The point is that we as a nation have assets in space of incalculable value. And so when you think of what a military does, as a minimum, they would protect a nation's interest, a nation's assets. And space is another place. You have the ground, you have the air, and you have space. So it's not a weird idea to say we perhaps should have a space force. The question is, does the Air Force think that they can't handle it under the current administrative, bureaucratic structures? And if not, then maybe it's a good idea. But if the generals say, we got this, then I don't see the need to force it on them.
What I also have noticed in the last few months is that the Chinese and the Russians have gotten more active in very interesting ways. So the Chinese went up and destroyed one of their old satellites, and the Russians went up and essentially deactivated one. And I thought that they were in some sense signaling, you know, we have the capacity to go up into space and to screw around with stuff or to destroy it entirely. The fact that they could do it to theirs means they could just as easily do it to American stuff.
Every single thing you do in space is a capability, okay? Can you send people into space? Can you dock in space? Can you spacewalk? Can you stay in space for months, for a year? Can you move a satellite? Can you destroy a satellite? Can you retrieve a satellite? All of this is you know, you make note of this. So once you have this checklist, then yourself as well as your adversaries will look to see whether any of these can be sort of weaponized or used for nefarious purposes.
Do you think it's inevitable that space becomes an arena for conflict?
The UN Space Treaty that promises peaceful uses of outer space. By the way, there's more than just no nukes in space. It's if there's an astronaut in need from another country, then you're obligated to assist them. It's a very nicely worded document. But there's a part of me that always says, why do we promise we'll treat each other nicely in space? If that's successful, why don't we have a peaceful use of Earth treaty? If it works there, it seems to me it should work on Earth. And if we can't get it to work on Earth, why should I have any confidence at all that somehow, oh no, we're in space, now we'll all be friends?
But why would the arena make a difference? It's the political tensions that cause the rivalry.
And I know I sound cynical saying that, but human nature scares the hell out of me. And so I don't know. I think it'd be nice if peace in space led the way to peace on Earth. That'd be kind of good. When you're in space, you have a very different view of Earth. Earth is like, whoa, how come I don't see the color-coded countries that were in my schoolroom globe? Oh, because we made those lines. They're artificially created. We're humans on this speck of a planet we call Earth.
And it seems so small and fragile.
Oh, yeah, because it is small and fragile. It's just seen that way. It is small and fragile. By the way, I serve on a board of the Pentagon, the Defense Innovation Board, but I'm not speaking for that board nor obviously for the Pentagon. By the way, there are future needs and concerns of what a Space Force would have to think about, such as asteroid defense. Right? That's a complete space-based threat to the livelihood not only of a nation but of the world. And it may be that the cooperation of the world in space is to save civilization. And that could be the greatest force of peace there ever was.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, as always, a pleasure.
Thank you.